Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. We are not here by chance, we are here by divine appointment. And I say to our viewing audience that if you tuned in at this moment, there's something here for you. And I love it that we're getting so much response from our community on Facebook and the World Wide Web that are receiving real value from our message. And it's because we meet here every week and have been. Well, first, Terry Whitaker was here for a year and then called me in 14 years ago. And they just said it would never last. But you know what? They didn't know who I was. Exactly, right? And we have just moved through so many experiences together. And that's what community does. We do it individually and collectively. Today we are talking about awakening the spirit within. And I love that verse from the Apostle Paul. Be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. In other words, be not conformed to all the stuff that's out there in the world. All of the things that are daily. We can turn on the TV. You can go on the internet. There's so much going on. There's wars and rumors of wars. And there's all kinds of amazing things that are going on the planet that are really very negative and sensationalized. And when I see those things, I go within because we have a lot of work to do on the planet. And that when we have had that spiritual awakening, we can never ever go back to the way it was because it's 6:30 on the evolutionary clock. And once it's 6:30 on the evolutionary clock, there's no going back. The call to God is so strong, that pull is so strong that we can never go back to the way we were before because we're not going to fit in that box. We have expanded past that. So today, as we come together to acknowledge our spiritual awakening in spirit, mind, and body, and the questions that we've asked, why am I here? And what am I here to do? What is my purpose in being here? And I believe that everything that we do is spiritual, because the touch of that energy, that spiritual energy, moves through us. And whatever business we're in, wherever we are on the planet, that there is a transmission of energy, and we can feel that transmission of energy, regardless of the field. And, you know, I always blame it on Mario when you compliment my outfits, because Mario has Marios of Palm Springs, and I go in there, and he makes everyone that walks in there feel like they are so very special and really addresses the God presence in them. And I've had people share there's something special. I said, well, it's his ministry. And he loves beauty. And so he has expanded that outward. My gardener, he comes and I said, you have a green thumb, Felipe. He goes, well, Dr. Sharon, I just love you. I just love you. I said, Felipe, I just love you, and everything you touch just flourishes. Because it's the energy of love. And when we love what we do and do what we love, there is no greater combination in life than that. And I don't care if we're pumping gas or we're out there in the world in the grocery line or we're doing our errands or whatever, that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. And we are using it every single moment of our lives. So when we ask the question, why am I here? What is my divine purpose? The energy of love begins to come into this energy field. And we find that this awakening, and I love that the Betty Ford Foundation is here in the Coachella Valley, and she wrote a book called The Glad Awakening. And when she had her glad awakening, she realized her oneness and that she had to do something about her alcoholism. And so she started the Betty Ford Foundation to help others who were in an addictive process. So I come from a long line of alcoholics. And I just thought, here is someone who stepped forward courageously and said, yes, this is my experience. And I've had a healing, and I want to pass this healing on to others. So when we have that wound within us, and this isn't about glazing ourselves over and patting ourselves on the head so that we can leave here and deflate. It's about our daily life is our temple and our religion. And that when we get that at a DNA cellular level, we realize that the old patterns drop away. They're no longer relevant. They just drop away in the natural process of life itself. We no longer participate in vicious gossip or want to even hear it. We let it go and returning it to its native nothingness from whence it came. And when people come with stories and gossip to me, I just say, that's not my experience of them. And what we should do is know the truth and go within and say a prayer, a spiritual prayer treatment, rather than looking outside of ourselves at someone and want to pull them down. Let's give people a hand up, especially in those moments that they need it so very much. So as we look at our spiritual awakening, we look that we are in the world and yet of a higher vibratory frequency. And what that means is, yes, I'm in the world. I'm going through my daily round. I got bills to pay. I have people to meet and places to go and things to do. But there is an energy that goes before me and prepares the way as I become a lamp unto my own feet, drawing others into my light and energy. And when we are feeling that we don't have the energy, then we rest the body temple. We regenerate so that when we are in the world, we are letting our light so shine that everyone and anyone who feels that energy is irresistibly drawn to us. The other day I had someone Facebook me, and I just happened to, another thing that happens in our spiritual awakening are synchronicities. The little coincidences, that I call them divine coincidences of life that come up. She Facebooked me and she said, Dr. Sharon, I'm going into a heart fibrillation. My heart is out of control. Please pray for me now. And I just went into treatment. I wrote her back and I said, I am praying for you. I have turned this over to our ministry of prayer, who is also at this moment praying and knowing the truth for you. And I said, you have an invisible means of support. And then she wrote back, we're doing this on Facebook. She wrote back, I forgot that. I forgot I had an invisible means of support. This is life. This is energy. This was the synchronicity of that moment that I was even on Facebook posting. I post inspirational things that I do in our ministry on Facebook. And that we could see her through this. And the next morning I received a thank you that her heart was in normalcy and that she felt very weak, but she was going to rest, and thanking our ministry of prayer. And when we can be at the right time at the right place and acknowledge these divine appointments, they happen over and over and over. You can be in a bookstore and that book will fall off the shelf. No one's around and there it is. And it says, transform your life. And you pick it up and you read it and it does. Because there is an energy of receptivity of what we draw. I often look at the clock on the computer. It's either, 1:11 or it's 3:33. When we were in Frankfurt, Germany, after speaking and presenting in Africa, my room was 444. I said, I'll take it. Is it on, is it a high? She goes, yes, it's on one of the higher floors. We only have 5 stories here. You're on 444. I'll take it. Because it's an affirmation, a synchronicitous affirmation that we are in alignment with a power so great, so universal, and so beautiful. And that the 444 is 12, which is a number also of completion. To move on to the next level, we hear that the 2 saddest things in life are having a goal and not reaching it. And having a goal and reaching it. Because when you've reached it, what else is there? What else is there? We've got to go to the next level. And sometimes we resist. We think, I've got so much on my plate. But we are called to move to the next level of our expression. And not judge the things out here. And that's why I love our way of life. And I love the beauty and the energy and also the lightness that allows us these wonderful synchronicitous moments. Jules Johnson, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Law of Attraction Radio Network, and she also has a beautiful magazine that she puts out, shiny, glossy, gorgeous. And I invited her to go to Africa and present with me along with Dr. Clayton Beaver. And she was just elated, and we were going to go on to Oslo from there for 2 weeks. And we went to Africa, and we presented, and we felt really good about it, and 25,000 students and faculty. and just the energy was palpable. And there's nothing like being in that level of energy. And then after everyone presents, they do their cultural dances, tribal dances, where they come in and they do these amazing dances, and a lot of them are like the mating dances. And so she was laughing and saying, I've never had, so much energy in my face. I know there's a message in here somewhere. And she goes, and I haven't had a relationship in 12 years, something like that. And so then we get to Frankfurt. We move on from Africa to Germany, because the Oslo, Norway conference has been postponed to September. It was the National Norway Week, and no one could get a hotel, and somehow the planner didn't think about it in advance. So I said, you are not going from Africa, and it's oppressive. It's 100 degrees humidity and 100 degrees, and it's walking into a sauna. We have dry heat here. This is a sauna. You're just, I wear mainly hats because, you're walking into a sauna. And I said, you are not leaving Africa without an experience of Europe. She'd never been abroad. So we went to Heidelberg, and we just had the most magical time with green parrots and my tree that I'm looking out, and there's green parrots. I mean, it just seems absolutely magical. Can you imagine looking out your window, and there's all the flock of green parrots? It was just magical. So we decided we'll leave a day early, we'll go into Frankfurt, and we'll spend the night at a hotel there, and we stayed at the Stegenberg Hotel, and the top floor was a great big spa. I said, it's Mother's Day, and we'll treat ourselves to Mother's Day, and we'll go up and get massages, and there's a swimming pool up there. And she goes, well, I didn't bring my bathing suit. I said, put a towel around you and go in the sauna. It'll be fine. So we get up there, and I make the appointments with the massage therapist. I get in the pool, and she goes into the sauna, and pretty soon I see her. She comes out, and, she's sort of like really ashen and pale, and I go, Jules, what is it? What is it? She goes, oh my God, I walked in there and there were just a whole room full of naked men. So I go to the person in charge and say, is there a female sauna? This is how we do it in Europe. This is how we do it in Europe. I said, should I go poke my head in and see? Way too much information. So, we were laughing, and we were, she goes, there's a message in this somewhere for me. I said, I think that you're ready for a relationship if you want to know the truth. So the universe gives us these very subtle and not so subtle messages. And we can listen, or we can, just kind of shine it on. But these synchronicities, these divine coincidences, these amazing little moments are coming up so that we can have a fuller, more expressive life, and that we can really experience it, and to truly experience life, and to know that I am at the right time in front of my computer doing my divine right thing when a call for help comes through. The Course in Miracles states, every loving thought is true, and everything else is a call for healing or help, regardless of the form it takes. Because my peace I give to you, my peace I leave with you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. You believe in God, believe also in your own Christed nature. The Buddha principle within us, that place of non-detachment. When we are not attached to the outcome, we create the space to experience it. And when I was in Oslo at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremonies with Malala from Pakistan, and she made that declaration that when they wheeled me in, now remember, she was shot in the head because she wanted an education. Shot in the head by the Taliban. We hear about this stuff, but there it is in front of us. And we were doing this peace march with the candles. It reminded me so much of the 60s. Doing the peace, with, singing, I'm the one that started singing it. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. With God as our Father, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. And so then she went up on the balcony, and she said that when she was shot in the head and they were wheeling her in on that gurney in the hospital, that all the fear went out of me, and the courage of my conviction and my cause came within me. And I realize that someday I will be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan. And made this declaration there on the balcony in Oslo, Norway, holding her peace candle and acknowledging, yes, when they wheeled me in, all the fear went out of me. I thought, if I live through this, then I'm meant to live. And I am meant to take a stand. And I am meant to move through this energy of girls not being able to have an education in my country. That I am about the element and the spark of change that's going to ignite that energy and light the path for others who follow me. So when we come together in our own individual lives, it's about whatever we do. If we want to be awakened, we do it with love. We let go, and we've all experienced that heartache, and we've guarded our heart, and we've put stuff over our heart. We need to open our hearts and realize that it cracks open so that we can have more compassion and more love. It's not that we repeat the old patterns either and invite people into our life that don't support us and maybe mistreat us, because that's how we feel about ourselves. We raise the vibratory frequency of our self-image and know that we are created in the image and likeness of God and that it is good and very good. So we open our hearts at a deeper level for that spiritual awakening, for that realization that we are in the world but not of it, and that there is always a doctor in the house, there is always a guru in the house, there is always the energy of light within the house, the teacher in the house within us. And ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. So this morning, when we look at our own spiritual awakening and moving to the next level, that these little things that come up, these divine synchronicities, these little divine appointments that show themselves, that we just pay attention to them. When I looked out and saw all the green parrots flocking in the tree, to me that was abundance. That was just like winged abundance, just flowing. And the opportunity to open to it, and to the mysteries of life. Life is not a problem to be solved. It's a mystery to be lived. Let's live it with grace, with a sense of love and energy and aliveness. Let's live it together. Let's move forward, realizing that peace is possible in our lifetime. I'm an idealist. I will always be an idealist. I believe that where thought goes, energy flows, and that you get enough people together that believe that, we create critical mass on the planet, and peace is possible, beginning with the spiritual awakening. God bless you. I love you. And where are we going? We are going higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you.